Absolutely delighted now to welcome on this man, one of the best prospects in the UK. Big fight announced for him a couple of weeks back. He's going to be taking on Mr. Davison Figueiredo's brother, Figueiredo, should I say. It is Mr. Jake Hadley. Jake, first of all, mate, happy Christmas to you, man. How's everything? It's been a bit of a wild year, to say the least, for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, man, everything's good. It has been a bit of a wild year for me, but it hasn't been a great year for me personally in my life, even in my career, really. I know I've signed to the UFC, but I've only had one fight this year. And a lot of things fall through, but one thing I can take from it is I've trained every single day. I haven't missed a training session, you know what I mean? So I've got a lot better as a fighter, so that's one thing I can take from it.
Definitely, but it's been, obviously some phenomenal moments in there. I know you've had some, shit moments as well, as you said there, and we spoke a little bit off air. Dana White Contender Series, what an emotional week from top to bottom, watching on and seeing everything that went on from you from afar, being over in Las Vegas. Man, the emotions there must have been absolutely insane from top to bottom, right from obviously the weigh-in, which I know you missed weight, and I want to ask you about that in a second, but just everything that sort of went on. You had issues with the PR stuff. Just express how emotional and how challenging that week was for you.
Yeah, man, it was a challenging week, and really to find out that some of the staff didn't maybe take to me or whatever, I couldn't quite understand why, because I hadn't really spoke to anyone really, but I understand a bit why now, but I'm in a bit of a different mindset when I'm in fight week, you know what I mean? I don't really talk to people, I'm there to kill people, so maybe I need to be a bit more gentle, but it's hard for me to be a bit more gentle when I'm in kill mode, but obviously they're civilians and I'm a killer, so it's kind of hard for them to understand. But,
do you think it though, Jake? It's a bit of and we get this, and you probably get on Twitter a lot as well, and I even seen a little bit with Darren Till and stuff like that. That Americans don't really seem to get the humour in the UK and Ireland, and maybe that sort of worked against you, and with maybe the PR staff over there. Was a little bit of that as well?
A little bit of that as well. No, people, unless they know me personally, it's hard to get my humour anyway, because my kind of jokes is, when I'm in the gym, I joke around with my mates after training. We just take the piss out of each other, you know what I mean? That's what our kind of jokes, that's what we find funny, but it's a different humour and stuff. Different people totally, you know what I mean? But it's an hard one to explain with them, really.
You mentioned in the post-fight media interviews that you did over there that you couldn't quite put your hand on what happened with the weight. Have you addressed that now? Do you know what happened? Have you looked into it? Has there been a sort of a dissection of what happened?
Yeah, well, there's a few things what happened. Obviously, the fact that I was fighting and then the fight got cancelled, and they told me that basically I wouldn't be fighting, so don't get your hopes up. And then they come at me with 2.5 weeks notice for the fight, and obviously my weight had gone back up quite a bit, but that weren't a problem by the time I got over there. My weight had dropped back down to where it should have been. But as far as what happened, why my body was holding water, I do not know. I must have eaten something, maybe the staff really didn't like me and put extra salt on my food or something. I don't know. I'm joking. But, something held onto my water, and as I've gone to cut the weight,
it's won't come off.
I'm cutting the weight and it's not coming off, you know what I mean? I'm not sweating or anything, so, it was a bit of a panic, and to be honest, I knew I was in trouble when earlier in the week I was doing hard sessions and I weren't sweating, so I was like, shit. So I was doing extra sessions to try get try sweat, because I'm thinking, well, why ain't I sweating? I'm banging pads hard now, why ain't I sweating?
Holy
you know
shit.
what I mean? Well, to be fair, I didn't really hit pads till 2 days out from the fight, because I hurt my hand as well, and I couldn't even punch through a bit of the camp, so.
Yeah, did you break your finger? Your finger looked sort of pretty messed up in the post fight.
No, I hurt my hand though in the training camp.
Okay.
like 1 or 2 days before I flew out there. So I couldn't really punch and foot my foot up as well. But whatever, man. Loads of things have happened to me throughout my career. I never make excuses. My fight with Saj Hack. I hurt all my calves. I couldn't run. My granddad had just passed away. My missus kicked me out of my house I was living in. I split up with her. We was together for 3 years. So these things happen, but you still got to go out and perform. You know what I mean? And that's what I do anyway.
Obviously, I'm not sure if you were aware of this beforehand, but I don't think Dana's ever. I think it was the first time in Contender Series history that he signed a guy who missed weight straight off the bat. Like, were you sort of thinking about that after the weigh-in, but before the fight, that maybe this fight might even be in vain for realising your dream? That must have played in your mind as well quite a lot overnight, and I think it's quite incredible to go out and do what you did in that fight.
Yeah, well, I kind of thought to myself, listen, I ain't going to get signed. I've missed weight, I ain't going to get signed. It was quite heartbreaking, but, I would have actually made the weight, but I more ran out of time than anything. So obviously I couldn't sweat, and then I couldn't sweat. But, it started to come off me bit by bit. It took longer, basically, to come off than what it normally would. And I missed it by a pound, and I was given an hour to make weight. And I would have made it in that hour, basically. But I know it sounds all like excuses or whatever. But the UFC staff told me, go sit over there, Jake. You got to wait for someone, so and so. So I went and sat over there. And then I was sat there for like 20 minutes. I was like, what am I waiting here for? You know what I mean? And then I got my coach to go and ask a different staff. And then the other staff said, why is he sitting there waiting there? He should be going and cutting weight. So in the end, I only had 20 minutes to make weight. You know what I mean? And obviously, you know yourself, if I've been struggling to sweat as it is, to try and make weight in 20 minutes, it took me 20 minutes to get a sweat on. You know what I mean? So it was just a bit of a fuck up, but it won't happen again. You know what I mean? I know now how it goes, but I forgot your question. Whatever.
that was basically it, man. But just the emotional challenges of that night and going into the fight, and you answered that as well. But the fight itself, man, it was an odd performance. It looked like you were very, very nervous in there, and probably everything that's gone on during the week as well. You started off a little bit slow, in my opinion, compared to what we're used to seeing, and then obviously you came out and that was the Jake Hadley we know. How did you assess it? Was there a lot of nerves going in there?
To be fair, I didn't feel that. I never really feel that nervous because I spar throughout the camp and I spar hard, and if anything, my sparring's kind of like a fight during my training camps anyway. We spar hard, so you got like a bit of a nervous energy. You're getting shinned in the sparring or whatever. So I weren't really nervous. I wouldn't say I was nervous. Really, it just felt normal to me. It just felt normal to me. He was a tricky guy.
Yeah, he was.
But he's kind of like he looked like he did better against me than other people, other top fighters. But realistically, he's a striker. He's a boxer with wrestling. Yeah,
he was quick, wasn't he?
Basically, my plan was just to bang him out on the feet.
Yeah.
I knew as soon as I took him down, I'd choke him out. But what I wanted to show to Dana and to the UFC public was basically, look, I can do everything. Here's my striking. You know what I mean? I was trying to beat him up in the striking, and then not take him down unless I had to. You know what I mean? And basically, he won the first round, so I thought, all right, then it's time to take him down now. And as soon as I took him down, I showed that I could have done that at any time, really. That's basically what I showed.
Jake,
I showed.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go on. Sorry.
No. I think they made a great decision. After we saw everything that you did, and I think, now even Dana from the post-fight press conference, the people have seen a little bit more of your personality, and we know the hype that's been around you in Europe. So I'm sure they're going looking at this now ahead of UFC London, that it's a bloody great decision that they've made.
Yeah, well, basically, like I said, like what I wanted to show to Dana and to the public was I can fight wherever the fight goes, you know what I mean? I can fight on striking, I can fight on my back, I can fight on top. And I think that's one of the reasons what helped me actually get signed. Even though I missed weight, was that I showed a full, well-rounded game, and that I'm dangerous everywhere. Like, dangerous on the feet.
Yeah.
If you put me on
Big
my
time.
back, I'm gonna, I fucked up that omoplata. That's a secret technique that I got on the from the omoplata position, but I fucked it up by trying to push his arm up into an armbar. Otherwise, he would have been out then and there.
Yeah.
And then I showed, I got the wrestling ability myself and the jiu-jitsu on top. So I think me showing the full, well-rounded game was the thing what helped me get signed. I think
time.
if I would have done what was easier, which was just to come in there and just take him down straight away and choke him out, I don't think I would have got the contract. But because I showed such a well-rounded game, that he thought, well, this guy's dangerous everywhere and he's aggressive everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? So
Big time.
I think that's why he picked me up.
As we talked about beforehand, just there a couple of minutes ago before we started the interview, that and myself and Peter often said it when we were doing the Bosch podcast together, Pete Carroll, that we don't think you should have ever had to gone down that route of Dana White Contender Series. But obviously, we're glad now it's worked out for you, and that's been brilliant. But tell me about what was the reaction like from back home. You've spoken about the trials and tribulations you've had back home. What was the reaction like that night? Was your phone was obviously just hopping off the block? What were the messages like from the family that you realised your dream?
Yeah, well, it was crazy. It's kind of like we knew it was coming, but we knew it was eventually going to come that I'd be in the UFC. But also, like, it's like it's a bit crazy in it, because obviously I've been dreaming of that since I was such a young kid. You know what I mean? And we've always followed the fighting and stuff like that. So it's like, we're halfway there now. We're a quarter of the way there to being, UFC champion, which is the ultimate dream. So it's a bit like of a crazy thing to say, oh, I'm a UFC fighter now, finally, you know what I mean? So it's an happy moment for my family. Obviously, my phone and social media blew up. I think I went from 7,000 Instagram followers to 25,000
Wow.
Instagram followers. So, my phone absolutely broken, you know what I mean, with all the messages and that. So it was madness.
Has anything changed in terms of, well, obviously a lot has changed, but in terms of, have you reaped any of the benefits of signing with the UFC yet, in terms of financially, and, you're a better place? We talked before and you were struggling quite a bit.
To be fair, it's a bit humbling, really, where on social media, my social media has exploded. I'm walking the streets and people are asking me for photos now and this and that and this and that. But then I have to catch the bus to the gym. That's the humbling experience, you know what I mean?
Very good.
And if you don't know where I am now, right now I'm in the gym, at the top of the gym, chilling, waiting for my next session, because if I go home, it's too long for me to go home and then come back to the gym.
Wow.
It takes too long. So I'm not even in a camp, and I've trained this morning and then sat in the gym on my own for a couple of hours waiting to go to my next session. It's a humbling experience, really, where, oh, you're this superstar, are you, but you're on buzz. You know what I mean? Like, so, brings you back down to earth, doesn't it, really? But, that's where a lot of these fighters, I come from rough, I come from this, I come from no money, and they get sponsored cars and stuff like that.
And they lose the run of themselves, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm still living this hard life, you know what I mean? I'm still living it, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
And I have to ask you this one, and again, I'll go back to the press conference that you had after the fight. You had a teacher that told you you'd never amount to nothing, you'd never be a professional fighter. What would you say to that teacher now? If you met that teacher in the street.
I have seen him. I did see him a couple of year back. I bumped into him in town. To be honest, I just said, "Oh, you're right, mate." He was like, "You're right." And that was it, really. I don't hold no grudges, whatever. To be fair, he didn't know no better, did he? He didn't know that. He just saw me at school and just thought, well, this kid don't give a shit about trying to listen to him or trying to do his work or anything like that. And he thought I was like that with everything in life.
Yeah.
But obviously, if anyone sees my determination and how I train in the gym, they know I was going to the top. They knew it, because I'm the definition of a gym rat. I'm always in the gym. 365 days, you get me, a year.
Yeah.
I'm always in the gym twice a day, no matter what. Even through injuries, I train through the injuries. Fuck it. You know what I mean? And I don't have nothing else in my life. Like, I ain't got no friends outside the gym. I got no hobbies. I'm good at nothing else. I got no, nothing. So, but he didn't know that, so I don't really blame him in a way. And I was a bit of a,
It's a
an idiot at
motivation
school.
booster as well.
Yeah, it's a motivation booster as well. I had loads of people say stuff like that to me growing up, but that's what helps you push, towards the goal. I'm going to prove you wrong, then I'm going to prove you wrong. And the funny thing is, I think that year at school, I won like the British Championship in Jiu-Jitsu. And I was like, look, I'm a British champion now in Jiu-Jitsu. See, I am going somewhere, look. You know what I mean? Which was nothing of achievement, really. But back then, that meant everything to me, you know what I mean? So,
fantastic.
Yeah, I wouldn't say nothing to him, to be honest. I'd just say, all right, mate, how you do?
Listen, listen, mate. I feel like the journey's just beginning for you. Anyway, this is only the start of it. From what we've seen and where you've come from and how far you've progressed as a fighter, and obviously the debut is on London. Man, that's pretty cool, isn't it? As well, making your UFC debut in London. That's a pretty special one to make your official debut on UK soil.
Well, this is what I keep hearing on the internet. Oh, it's London, London. Well, I can officially tell you that in my contract it never said London.
Okay.
So
where did it say?
It didn't say a location. Yeah. It didn't say a location. And the UFC are onto me to get your vaccine and stuff because of flying to America and that. So I think people thinking it's definitely going to be in London are a bit
wide of the mark.
A bit, taking a risk here, mate. I think you should get your vaccination or I know some fighters do this, your fake one or whatever you want to do, because it might not happen in London, mate. I'm telling you, it might not happen. The way the world is right now.
Yeah, you can't.
The way the world is.
Very true. You can't rely on anything.
You can't rely on that, mate. So, to me, I don't. If it's in London, that'd be, great. Obviously to fight in front of the British fans. Also, I don't have to pay all that tax, man. Fuck me. It meets up my whole purse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, big time, man.
Yeah. So, yeah,
that's an interesting.
I hope it's in London, but I can't guarantee anything.
Yeah.
The only reason I've heard it's through London is through the social media. No one's told me it's London. My contract does say London.
I heard a few whispers it was London months ago, and I think they're aiming towards London. But obviously, I think, as you said there, Jake, at the moment that things are pretty. We don't know what's going to happen. Look at the Premier League, what's going on at the moment. Even this week, there's games being cancelled left and right. They're cutting back fans going to matches. So we just don't know.
I don't know nothing about COVID or anything like that. I don't keep an eye on the news. I don't watch the news.
You're better off.
Yeah, I mean,
better off.
I was getting in trouble the other day. He was like, "Why you got your mask on and your buzz?" And I was like, "What do you mean? I didn't know you had to wear one." It's like, "Put your mask on." I was like, "Oh shit, I haven't got one." You know what I mean? So all these new rules, I can't even keep up with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very all over the place. To be honest, it's here, there, the changing the laws the whole time. It's very hard to keep up with. But listen. Big opponent as well on your UFC debut, Francisco Figueiredo, and brother, obviously the flyweight champ. The former flyweight champ. Edison. All right, we know. You know what I mean. Yeah. But basically, a lot of the UK guys and a lot of the Irish guys, there's been this new generation. You know yourself. There's been UK especially is full of killers. The man Leon Edwards. We've a numerous amount of guys coming through. All the Welsh crowd at the moment as well. This sort of says to me, with all the hype that's sort of come at you from Cage Warriors as well, that the UFC are just going straight in there. They know, Dana, I think, feels that you're bloody one of the best talents he has on the roster from the UK at the moment, and they're throwing you in against these big name opponents. Is that very much the case that you feel that sort of must give you confidence, even after what Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard said, that they're putting you in there with a top quality guy?
Yeah, well, even like Dana spoke to me personally on message and was like, "I want to put you in a fight which the public gonna really care
Yeah.
about and this and that," and he wants to get me out as soon as possible. He was saying this to me a few months back after I won my fight, and yeah, I called for this fight. I called for this fight a few times, and have you gone? Sorry, are you still there?
No, I'm still there.
Oh yeah, your picture's just gone off the screen. That's all it was.
Yeah, I've just changed
I
it.
did call for this fight. A few times, obviously being that he's unranked, but he's probably the most famous unranked flyweight, you know what I mean? As in, he's got a bit of credit because of his brother, obviously. He's won one fight, he's lost one fight in the UFC, so, I think he's pretty much a fair fight, you know what I mean? As in, it's my debut. He's had 2 fights in, he's unranked. It's not like I'm going straight to a ranked guy, you know what I mean? So, but they're pushing me towards a guy who's already got like a bit of a name and a bit of a following. So, yeah, man, it's a good fight, and I can't wait to smash him in.
It's a bloody great fight. I love it, to be honest, on paper. I think the whole card from what we've seen and some of the matches so far are absolutely bloody stacked, and it's going to be, some of the best UK talents definitely on show. I have to ask you as well, Jake. Is it banter between you and Muhammad Mokaev, or what's the situation? I just can't seem to read it. He's obviously on the fight card as well. He's signed with the UFC. I think you're both managed by Paradigm Sports Management, as far as I'm aware. What is the banter going on with you two guys? It seems pretty. I saw the post. I have it up here now for the guys of you ringing him a few months ago as well. It was absolutely hilarious. What is the buzz? Can you tell me what's going on with you and Muhammad Mokaev?
He's just a fucking idiot. He's just a kid. He's just like he's a weird geezer, and he's like a kid in his mind. I don't know, man. He's like, have you heard this guy speak? He's got he talks all that broken English, yeah. But if you ever go and speak to him properly, yeah, he talks proper English. You know what I mean? He talks the Queen's English, but as soon as the camera goes in his face, he's all, "I Dagestan, I smash everyone." Mate, I'm more Russian than him. You know what I mean? Like. This geezer, he's fake Russian. He was born in fucking Wigan. He's from Wigan, man. He's just fake, man. He just wants to be someone he's not. Obviously we've got a bit of a background because I called him out from the amateurs when I was number 1 ranked amateur, and he was coming up. And I said there was a lot of hype behind him even when we was amateurs, and I thought, well, I want to smash your face in. Why is everyone talking big about you? I want to kill you. So I called him out, a few times, and there was a few times that amateur we were supposed to fight, and basically, I'm not going to say he turned it down, but basically his team turned it down at the time he was with Team Carbon, turned it down multiple times at amateur. I obviously went pro, a few years after he went pro, you know what I mean, and he talks that good game. Come and fight me on Brave, and I was signed to Cage Warriors. He knows that I can't. How can I come and fight you on Brave if I'm signed to Cage Warriors? You prat! Like, why would they let me go and fight you on Brave, you idiot? And I also do think it's a bit of a bad thing that he's actually signed to the UFC, in my opinion, because
why is that?
Look how long it took me to get to the UFC. As in, I had to win 2 world titles and go through contenders to get signed. I think there needs to be a better criteria of how to get in the UFC, because for one guy it's one thing and for another guy it's another. So let me ask you a question: why has he signed to the UFC and Jack Cartwright hasn't?
I totally agree with you. I think Jack should definitely be in. Go on.
Why has he signed and Woody ain't? Or why has he signed and Sam Creasy hasn't? I know Sam Creasy. Imagine Sam Creasy hadn't fought this fight the weekend. Yeah, imagine he just hadn't fought this fight. Yeah. So if you're saying I'm the number 1 flyweight in the UK, they needed to sign me. Yeah. Then the next guy to be signed from the UK, if he hadn't fought the weekend, was Creasy, wasn't it? He was on a 5-fight win streak. 100%. He was 15 and 2 or something like that. He was a world champion. I just don't understand why they've picked this kid up. He's got 1 good win on his record, and that win is, it ain't like a prime Blaine, is it? It's a Blaine O'Driscoll who's coming over off 2 losses or something like that.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? It ain't a proper Blaine. You know what I mean? He's never fought at flyweight. He's fought at flyweight once in his career, and that fight he fought at flyweight, he nearly lost it. You know what I mean? And that was against a nobody. All his other fights, he's fighting catch weights. Yeah, 59 kilo.
I agree with you. I think they could have given. I would have been happy enough for him as someone who covers the sport for many a moon, and just maybe him having as you said there, a couple of more pro fights outside of the UFC. I think that would have been the correct decision personally, but who am I to say that, and who am I to say for a guy to turn down when the UFC do come knocking as well at the end of the day? But I get where you're coming from, definitely.
It's more of like it ain't who's the best fighter in the world nowadays, or it's not who's the best fighter outside of the UFC. It's who's got the most Instagram followers. That's what it is.
Oh, so huge amount of social media, yeah.
My advice to all you kids is just buy your Instagram followers, because then you're going to get in the UFC. Yeah, you don't even need to be good at fighting. Just buy your Instagram followers, yeah, and you'll sign to the UFC. Don't do it like me. Don't fight killers from your third fight on. Don't fight killers from your third fight on. I'm advising you. You know what I mean? Fight.
Do you reckon I'll get in a fight by a load of followers, Jake? Am I too old? 39 years of age. Am I a bit old?
I think you'll get signed. It looks like you'll get signed, wouldn't it? Because that's how he's got.
There's no super heavyweight division, mate.
Fought 5 pounds and he got signed off that. You know what I mean? I want to fight him, but the problem is I really wanted to fight this kid. You know what I mean? I'm even willing, if the UFC want to do, fuck my opponent off, fuck his opponent off, let me and him fight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you actually? Honestly, if the UFC went right, Grant, let's put together Hadley and Mokaev right now. Would you prefer that? Yeah,
it's a way more of an easier fight as well. Let's be real. It's way more of an easier fight. This Figueiredo who I'm fighting is a former world champion. He's a former jungle fight bantamweight champion. He's got over 18 fights or something like that. He knocks people stone dead, out cold. They call him Sniper for a reason. He knocks people out cold. What's scary about this kid who's just trying to hug you to death? He thinks he's scary, but you're just going to come in and hug. My problem with Mokaev is why I want to fight him so bad now is I don't think he can win in the UFC. I think he'll lose quick. And once he's lost, I don't want to fight him then. I've got no interest in fighting him then. I want to be the guy to take the hype off him. But I don't think I'm going to be the guy to take the hype off him. I think he's going to lose before he gets a chance to fight me.
I think everyone would love to see that fight. And, I think from the UFC's point of view, they won't put it together for a while because I think they realise that you're both, very, very good talents. But ultimately, you might have to do that in a couple of years, throw down. If you get a win streak going, they might have to match you two guys up. You're with the same manager.
I don't think you can put a win streak together. I don't think you can. I don't think he'd beat Figueiredo. He wouldn't beat that guy in one fight, and he wouldn't beat him. This fight he's got Durden or whatever his name is.
Cody Durden, yeah.
That's a 50-50 fight. The only thing what makes him a bit more winnable is because Durden ain't dangerous. The only chance of Durden or whatever his name is got of winning is a decision, because he ain't got knockout power. He ain't got no submission ability. He's just got a decision ability. But from a guy who's a Dagestani wrestler, bro, you learned how to wrestle in Wigan. Shut up, you ain't no. You know what I mean? Come on, bro. You're fighting a real American wrestler now. Let's see how good it is.
Will you be having word? Will you be?
I ain't a hater. You know what I mean? I'm happy for the kid that he signed to the UFC, and I ain't a hater. I just want to smash his face in. Is that will I be having words with him when I see him? This is the problem. What Dana White's got to understand, and everyone else has got to understand there, is this kid has openly threatened me on message that when he sees me, he's gonna hit me. Yeah. Okay. And he's gonna hit me with a chair and this and that. He said it to me openly on message. Now, this is a warning to you people, yeah. Don't be saying that sort of stuff, because when you don't know about me, yeah, when I see that, it's on, you know what I mean?
Where did he say this? He'd hit you with a chair?
Yeah, he said this on private message. He'll hit me with a chair and all this bollocks, yeah. You can't be threatening people like that, you know what I mean? And then, because then when I Judas punch you, you know what I mean? Don't be crying in it. But obviously, I ain't gonna do that. It's like, well, I'm at the UFC, you know. But if we see each other at another show, you know what I mean? Don't go reporting me to the police. That's all I'm saying. When I fucking blindside doing it. But you know, obviously, I won't do that at the UFC. I'm smart, but I'll have my guys around ready to bang him out anyway if he comes anywhere near me. So don't come anywhere near me because you're gonna get flatlined.
Okay.
You know, that's a dangerous. You can't be saying that you're gonna come and do that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be saying them things. You know, other fighters have said it to me in the past. I think you're fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Don't talk like that. Anyway,
what a UFC card coming up. I think you answered a few of our questions there about the heat between you and Muhammad Mokaev. But listen, Jake, it's a fantastic fight against Figueiredo. I can't wait for it. And I'm looking forward to, you know, this a rejuvenated surge, as we've seen a second sort of coming of all these young UK fighters. It's a special time, I feel, for, you know, European mixed martial arts, especially in the UK and obviously in Ireland as well at the moment. The talent, you know, a couple of guys in Cage Warriors that we have coming through, and it's going to be amazing. Listen, mate, have a really great Christmas. I do appreciate the time, and enjoy training. Hopefully I'll see you over in London.
Yeah, hopefully, mate. Hopefully it happens in London. Let's pray. Let's pray.
Top man.
Thanks for the interview, man, and have a great Christmas yourself.
Same to you. Thanks a million, buddy. Talk to you soon. If you want to see more videos like this, do hit the subscribe button and also the notification button so you don't miss any future updates. You can also catch us on social media and also give the video a thumbs up. It does help. Thanks, guys.